Yeah, hello everyone. Welcome you are in our next series of privacy management system. What we are doing. So our next topic is related to data subject access request procedure. Data subject access request procedure related topics which we are going to cover today, and this is mandatory as per the you can say California Consumer Privacy Act, that is called as CCPA. It is also mandatory as per the GDPR, that is called a General Data Protection Regulation. And currently, we do have a standard for privacy management system that is called as ISO 27701. So it is also mandatory by these three frameworks. Apart from this, this is also being mandatory for various privacy regulations which are available across the globe to provide a mechanism to access their data, whatever the personal information which has been provided by a user to the organization, then we as an organization has to provide a mechanism to the user to provide the access to their personal information what they have shared with us. So let's go and see what actually this actually is. So data subject access request, we are dealing with DSAR, that is called as DSAR. Now GDPR or another privacy related regulations give certain rights to the individual. There are certain rights, there are total 7 rights which has been given to the rights which have been given to the individual. To practice those rights, it is required to provide a process, or you can say methodology, to which the data subject can request access to their rights. In sometimes in Article 15 GDPR, it is given in Article 15 GDPR, it is given that we need to provide a proper data subject access request procedure to each and every individuals. Before going ahead or before seeing the methodology what we need to adopt, we need to see what actually those rights are. So there are total 7 rights which has been given to the individuals. The first rights is related to right of access. If an individual wants a copy of information what you are having, then in that case we need to provide those information to the individuals. This is the first thing. Another thing is related to right of rectification. If certain corrections are needed in the data which has been provided by the users, so they can use their right of rectification. The third right which is given uh, by the individual by the GDPR, the various privacy related regulation, is called as right to erasure. If the person want to withdraw their consent, or if the person want that their data what they have given to the organization no longer associated with the organization, or their data should not be with the organization, so they can use their right of erasure rights. So next right is related to right to restrict processing. That means stop for the this restrict processing means if you don't want that the organization further process your data, so you can use your right to restrict processing right. The next right is related to right of data portability. If you want to port your data in a machine readable format, then your data can be transferred, or you can say port to third party upon your request. This rights also user can use. The next right is related to right to object. If you want to object, or if you want to stop the processing of individual data for direct marketing, for profiling, and where there is no compelling legitimate ground, then you can ask organization to stop the processing of the individual data what you have given to them. Right in the relaxation, right in the relaxation, right in the relaxation to automated decision making and profiling. If you don't want that your data would be a part of automated decision making, including profiling, then you can use this right number 7. Now we have understand there are several rights has been given by the various privacy related uh, regulations to the users or individuals. Now, how this would be implemented in the organization? To implement this in the organization, we need to have a proper process through which the uh, through which an individual can raise the request. So we need to prepare a mechanism within the organization through which individual can raise the request. This can be through email. This can be through faxes. This can be the first option what we have through email and the phone. Sorry, in the email and the faxes. If someone calls you over a phone and asks you to provide to you that they want to use their rights, in that case also you need to ask them to share a detailed mail to so and so email ID which you have created. The first thing is the receiving of the DSR through email or we are going through faxes. The another option what we can give that would be easier option. We can give a link of DSAR. We can give a data subject access request link over our website, company website. We can give the link so that if user want to use their rights they can directly go to the websites and there will be a web page or automated form would be there. By filling those details they can able to use their rights. So there are two options, which of the which in both option which of the option suits to organization they can adopt this option. So for receiving the DSR we do have a two option, either we can receive over the emails or we can receive over the portal, organization portal, or you can say a website and all, organization website. So we can use these two things. Now next process, now once the DSR has been received, then what would be our next step? When our DSR has been received, then the first thing what we need to do, we need to provide a acknowledgement to the users that boss your DSR has been received. So we'll provide the acknowledgement to the user. Then we need to check whether the request types which has been received by the organization is valid or not. If it is not valid, then we can directly refuse the request. If it is valid, then in that case we will see, because their rights from article 15 to 22 talks about the rights of the individual. So we will see which rights the user want to use. Accordingly, we will forward the request to the concerned department, because the data which is collected by whether IT department or HR department of the organization or sales department of the organization or the marketing department of the organization. There may be multiple departments where data has been collected. So based upon the request, we will forward the request to the concerned department and will ask that the user want to use their rights related to access, related to erasure, data erasure and on and so on. Now once the data has been received by the department, now what they are going to do, this data has been divided into three parts. Basically, the first part would be the right to access a data portability. Article 15 and Article 20 would be clubbed. Article 16 and 17, right to rectification and erasure has been clubbed. In the same way, right to restrict processing and automated decision making has been clubbed. No, and profiling and also profiling would also covered in the last one. Now, once the request would be received by the department from the privacy team, because the privacy team of the organization, or in each and every organization have the privacy team. The privacy team of the organization must be dealing with the privacy related stuff of the organization. Okay. Now, the moment data has been received by the privacy team to the department, the department will acknowledgement, they will acknowledge the receipt of the emails or the communication over the phones and all. Now, once the acknowledgement has been sent, they will search in their database. They will search in their database whether the person who has raised the request was there with us or not. So they will try to retrieve the category of the personal data, and they will try to retrieve only the data subject's personal data only. They are not going to do, if A, suppose A have raised the request, so they will fetch A related data only. They will not fetch the data of B. Now, the next process would be that they will collect the requested data. The collation of the requested data would be there. Then they will retrieve the source data collection. The next phase will retrieve the first thing is that retrieve the source data collection, and another thing is the retrieve automated decision making data. They will also try to retrieve whether the data has been transferred to the third country or not. Then they will collect all the information which is available with them related to the data subject. So once the information will be collated, then they will validate in the machine readable format. The data will be validated in the machine readable format, and then data will be sent, and they will send a response to the privacy team that boss your in case of data portability, they will create a machine readable format data and they will send to the privacy team, and they will log the DSAR activities as per article 13. It is required to log all the DSAR which is being received by the organization. Now, if this is the first step what organization needs to adhere in case of right to access and data portability. Now, another process related to right of rectification and erasure. The first we need to identify the data linkage. Data linkage means wherever we have kept the personal information of the user. It may be over the electronic form, it may be over the paper form, it may be over the backups which we have taken, or it may be in the files, physical files somewhere we are preparing. It may be in those physical files also. So we'll identify the systems where we have kept all the data. Once the system has been identified, then we'll inform the system owner to rectify or erase the data. We will get the confirmation related to rectification and the erasure of the data, and we'll send, once we'll get the confirmation, then we'll send the response to the privacy team. Again, this activity would be logged. The next process would be related to right of restrict processing, objection of automated decision making, and profiling. In this case also, the same process we are going to follow. We'll search in our organization system, will inform to the owner related to request. When the request would be fulfilled, then we will respond. We're going to respond to the privacy team, and accordingly the request would be closed. So you have seen this is the process what we need to follow while working upon the DSAR. Now, once the privacy team gets the inputs from various stakeholders related to the rights what has been asked by the user, then they are going to respond. One respond process should be also there to respond back to the user on their request. So once the privacy team will receive the response receipt from the different department, the privacy team is going to validate the response. If the response is adequate, then they are request to copy third party, and they will inform the data subject related to DSR what has been raised, and the end of the process would be there. So we need to close this cycle in 30 days. Maximum 30 business days has been given uh, to a organization to close the DSAR. In the 30 days, we need to close the DSAR, data subject access request. Now, next thing is related to the form and template. What form we can use? So this is the sample form what I tried to attach here. In this sample form, this is this form is called as PII, principal request form, or you can say if DSAR form also you can write. This is the DSAR form. In the DSR form, you will try to request certain information related to name, address, contact number, email ID, and some identity proof to validate the request. In the same way, you will give them option which rights they want to use, whether they want some information about the personal information what we have collected, they want to modify, correct, and update the personal information, they want to erase the personal information, they want to modify the personal information. The same way objection for PI processing and all. And we will take a declaration that boss, you are the person who want to use the rights, and the once the data we have in our system would be deleted, we cannot give it to back. So certain declaration kinds of things we need to obtain from the users also. So this is the sample form what we can use while collecting the request through the email. So when the user will raise a request through email, you need to send this form to the user. The form is filled by the user to you. Then you will acknowledge them ki boss, I have received the form. Now it will take 2 days to 5 days or 6 days or 30 working days to process your response. So accordingly, we need to communicate to the users. So I hope you have understand the need of DSAR, data subject access request, and why it is very important for the organization to process these kinds of requests. So thank you. That's all from the DSR. Someone who wants this template of DSAR, they can ping me or they can comment in the comment section. I will surely forward it to them. Thank you.